Fridays, we visit with Michael Snyder on all things viewable and listenable. Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Welcome.
Hey, guys. I'm so happy I remembered we were doing this. I was caught up in watching a lecture by Dr. Stella Emanuel. I mean, her knowledge of demon sex and alien DNA splicing and lizard people in the government, unparalleled.
You make fun, but there's a movie there somewhere, so you ought to just, jot some of that stuff down. That's one of your comic book type movies.
I want to reassure all my partners that I have always practiced safe demon sex, so they don't have anything to worry about.
Very, very cool.
Is that sex from a distance? What is that?
I don't want to go in. I don't want any more specifics on it. Thank you, Michael. What?
I'll keep it under wraps.
They tell me what's happening on this Friday thing. It's crazy.
Yes, I'm very unhappy with everything I've heard today on your show.
I agree. Well, just wait. It's going to get worse. Michael, tell us about the movies. I'm told that there are 3 of them that you have to feature.
Yes, we have 3, and they're good ones, relatively speaking. Let me say, the first one I did a more extensive review in this coming issue of the Marina Times. It's called The Go-Go's, and since a couple of the band members actually live in the Bay Area, some of the time, if not much of the time, we should really lead with this. It's a thoroughly engaging documentary about the buoyant female rock quintet of the same name. This examines their emergence from the L.A. punk scene in the late 70s, their shift into energetic pop rock after a couple of personnel changes, their stunning leap to the top of the charts in 1981 with the debut album Beauty and the Beat. So like a couple albums later, they would splinter and break up over business and personal issues and eventually reunite for one more collection of new recordings in 2001. But to this very day, Mark, they are still the first and only all-woman band to record an album of their own compositions while playing all the instruments themselves and have it reach the #1 slot on Billboard's album charts. That's crazy.
Wow.
Even today, they are the first and only, which is amazing. Director Allison Elwood takes a really straightforward approach to examining the who, the how, the why of the Go-Go's and their achievements, and also the pitfalls of their journey. And the women are all on board. They're incredibly frank. There's interviews with their former manager and the former members of the band that dropped out or were severed from their gig before the Go-Go's big breakthrough. And you get all the girls, Belinda Carlisle, Jane Whelan, Charlotte Cathy Valentine, and the very cool Gina Schock, who lives in Bernal Heights, by the way. You find out that media people who supported them, women in rock that were influenced by them, and there's a lot of cool little animated segues. Elwood, who made the film, has a real affinity for L.A. area musicians and their stories. She did a history of the Eagles, 2-part documentary. And
I saw that. That was good. So she did this. Okay.
And she did this year's Laurel Canyon, which was on Epic.
Oh, that was spectacular.
Yeah. I know. So this is the work of Allison Elwood. And, what's really cool about this, it's on Showtime, by the way, and it debuts today. And it also kind of lets you see the women as they are today and shows them working on a new song, Club Zero, which is coming out concurrent to the film. Anyway, I really enjoyed it.
It's called The Go-Go's, and it's on Showtime. Okay, cool. That sounds like a must-view. I like it.
Okay, as soothing as a warm bath in an old clawfoot bathtub, Summerland is mostly a chance to watch the wonderful UK actress Gemma Arterton, who I adore,
Brett will not shut up about Gemma Arterton. He goes crazy for her, don't you, Brett?
Whether he does or not.
No, you've never heard of her. That's
okay, thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, you may know her from the Bond movie Quantum of Solace, where she played Strawberry Fields opposite Daniel Craig. You may have seen her as the title character in Tamara Drew, which I totally recommend you seek on streaming. It's a very clever and amusing modernization of Tom Hardy's Far From the Madding Crowd. And she's co-starring in the upcoming Kingsman prequel, The King's Man. But now you can see her light up the screen as Alice, a reclusive writer in a quaint English seaside town during World War II, And to her displeasure, she discovers that she's been tapped to take in Frank, a young boy who was evacuated from the London Blitz, essentially, while his father, a military pilot, and his mother, a government worker, are doing their part in the war effort against the Axis. Alice wants to be left alone with her academic work, researching folklore. All of her disapproving neighbors are taking in kid evacuees. She wants someone else to take the kid, and then a bond starts to grow between Alice and Frank. It gets a little sentimental and predictable, but it is an ideal, warm-hearted diversion at this nasty
Oh, that's
juncture in
nice
history.
then. Yeah, that might be a really great thing to see. And what's it called again? Summerland?
It's called Summerland, and you get Gugu Mbatha Raw in a small but pivotal role. The excellent British actor Tom Courtenay doing a little gravitas, and it was written and directed by Olivier Award-winning British playwright Jessica Swale. It's not an award winner, but it's kind and gentle and humane, and I think that's what we need for 90 minutes these days. And again, Arterton, Brett, is a delight to watch, as you must know. or maybe
you guys.
He loves things that are delight to watch. What is the platform that it's on, Summerland? Where can we see it?
Summerland is actually going to be opening in some theaters. Good luck. But it's also available for your delectation on Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, and maybe even YouTube and DirecTV. Just check your listings. One more that I want to point out. It's really maybe the best one of the best of the films I've seen in a while. The Shadow of Violence. It was originally released in the UK and Ireland as Calm with Horses, which I guess was the name of the literary source material. It is a kick-ass mix of crime thriller and interpersonal drama about the travails of a tough ex-boxer named Douglas Armstrong, nicknamed Arm. And this guy falls into the only gig he seems suited to do, enforcer for the local criminal gang, the drug-dealing Beavers. It's a family of criminals. But Arm himself is not a killer. And he wants to do the right thing by his estranged girlfriend. They have an autistic son. The kid needs special needs care, and that costs money. So when the Beavers send Arm on a mission that can kind of cost him his soul, he faces a moral dilemma and the test of loyalty. Cosmo Jarvis is the actor who plays Arm, and he is a revelation. I've seen him maybe in one other thing. He's sad-eyed, hulking, conflicted, basically decent despite a short fuse and let's call them intellectual shortcomings that may or may not be a product of his career in the boxing ring. Jarvis has the potential to be an international star. Serious acting chops, genuine action hero vibe, and the rest of the cast is top shelf, including Barry Keoghan, who was in Dunkirk, and the amazing indie drama The Killing of a Sacred Deer. He plays Arm's self-centered crony, who's kind of a careless lieutenant in the gang, and Ned Dennehy from Peaky Blinders as one of the bosses of the Beavers family. Great work by director Nick Rowland, who brings the tension, the pathos, and lots of violence in the shadow of violence, and it all comes to a powerful climax, and you can see it at home or in select theaters, but try the home option, Apple TV, Vudu, and Fandango now.
Oh, fantastic.
Wow, that's really great. That's quite a trio.
Yeah, I saw, last weekend I saw The Rental, which is a thriller.
Michael recommended that.
Yeah. I liked it, although I thought the ending was kind of, they didn't give themselves an opportunity. They could have had a lot of fun with the ending, and I thought I just kind of fell flat at the end. But
it sounds to me like you heard my review. That's exactly what I said.
Yes. I'm starting to agree with you more and more. Something is wrong.
You've been hypnotized.
Oh. Well, we have like 1 minute left. Can you mention, because I know the Emmy nominations came out and there's a lot of streaming television series. One you can't say on the radio if you the comedy you can. And I love it. It rhymes with Ritz.
I know. Let me just tell you, I'm so happy to see the Emmys honor two shows, What We Do in the Shadows, which is FX's very funny mockumentary sitcom about vampires in contemporary Staten Island. This was adapted from Taika Waititi's hilarious movie of the same name, which is set in his native New Zealand. And this features Matt Berry of Toast of London and Year of the Rabbit in a lead role. And so great to see kudos for the wonderful, the laughter, tears, etc. final season of Blanks Creek, with a boatload of nominations that give belated recognition to the legendary SCTV sketch comedy series, with nominations for two of its veterans, the hilarious Eugene Levy and the adorably funny Catherine O'Hara, and offering kudos to Eugene's son, Dan Levy, who co-created and co-stars in the show. I'm so happy about that. And one more quick note. Our friend Tom Kenny just won his second Daytime Emmy for voicing the world-beloved cartoon character SpongeBob SquarePants, and deservedly so. He used to joke that his cushy dream job would be voiceover work, and with the amount of characters he's done in his career and moonlighting as lead singer of his own rock and soul band, Tom Kenny and the High Seas, this guy's like James Brown-level hardest working man in showbiz.
He does such great stuff. So talented, and I used to see him around the city all the time. San Francisco guy, for like moved to L.A., I guess, probably.
Yes, Syracuse to San Francisco, along with his pal Bobcat Goldthwait, and then San Francisco to L.A., married to the equally talented in her way, Jill Talley, former Second City performer, a veteran of Second City, and she also does voice work, and they both do live action stuff. But Tom is like he's kind of like he's like the king of voiceovers. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he's like he's like a Bo Jackson kind of guy. He can do it all. You know what I mean? Play all the sports. Michael, Summerland, The Go-Go's, and The Shadow of Violence are the three that you recommend, and then the other television stuff that you sprinkled in. You can find Michael Snyder in the Marina Times, the coastal commuter column that he does, and also his latest review in the Marina Times. You can also find him here with us on KGO on Fridays. Thanks, Michael Snyder.
Thanks, Michael. Have a good weekend.
You too.
And on Twitter, he's at Culture Blaster.